If you have dealt with anxiety, I want you to know that you're not alone. It happens, like the fear of the unknown happens. Don't feel ashamed. The God of the universe loves us beyond measure and wants to be our friend. He desires to share with each of us a unique, unbreakable bond. This is First Things First, a devotional podcast where for 365 days, first thing each morning, we are going to be getting to know God better. We're going to be seeking His daily will for our lives and seeing how best we can seek first His kingdom. In short, we'll be putting first things first. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to First Things First. I'm your host, Melissa Sewell, and today I want to kick off our series on fear and anxiety. And it's gonna start, as all our series should start, with a story. Some anecdotal, some just stuff about what's going on outside of my life. But this one is gonna be a bit personal. I want to talk about my step one experience and anxiety. For those of you who don't know, step one is United States medical licensing exam that is broken down into actually three parts. So there's step one, step two, step three. Steps 1 and 2 are done before graduating from medical school, and step 3 is done when you get a big girl or big boy job when you are a resident. I finished my second year of medical school last year, and we have what I call med school purgatory for us. Basically, we had an interim term where we had to study for 2 exams, my classmates and I. The first one was something called CBSE. It's an exam particular to students who attend North American schools based in the Caribbean. I had to take that exam, and that was like our prerequisite exam. I had to pass that exam to be allowed to take step 1 by my university. So I passed the first one, thank God. I was a bit nervous about that exam, but I was like, if there's an exam to fail, it's this one. No one's gonna see that I passed it. They'll just know because of the custom of the school that I had to pass this one to pass step, but it doesn't go anywhere in terms of getting a job. So I was like, yeah, if there's a fail to fail, this is the fail to fail. And I didn't fail that exam. So I was like, okay, step 1. And guys, the thought started. The thought started. So I started studying, I want to say maybe the 3rd week of December, with some off days because it's the festive season. And then 2025, I hit the road running full throttle. Like, I had friends to hold me accountable, to ensure I was awake when I wanted to be awake, to ensure that I went to bed when I wanted to. One thing about me, I am a stalwart for studying. You can ask any of my friends. I become a robot. I am very militant in that aspect, for better or for worse. The ball was rolling. I did CBSE in February. I passed. Then I had to schedule my step 1 exam, and I was hesitant to do so, but then I was just like, okay, the school gave us a timeline to schedule our exams, and I took the last date, the very last date, and I burnt out. I crashed out, and you'd have to know me to know that I was burnt out, because it would seem maybe like laziness at some point, but the steam wasn't steaming anymore. Like, after February ended, mid-March, so my step 1 exam was 21st of March in the year of our Lord 2025, a Friday. And I remember the Sunday I was talking to a friend. I texted a friend, shared how deeply anxious I was becoming with one person, and it was with a friend who's in a term above. I didn't want to affect any of my friends who were studying along with me, so I was like, I'll tell them, this is an exam, like, I have jitters about it, but I wasn't being transparent about how I was feeling. For my friends who know me now, I need to give this a caveat. Yes, I can be dramatic. I know I can be dramatic. But I just feel like when it comes on to important things in life, we need to give them their due. Like, allow things to be what they are in life and then move on. So my friends will tell you, when an exam is coming up, I am going to freak out just a bit, maybe for 5 minutes. You understand? Just a little something, and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, we have so much to study. And the truth is, I am being dramatic, but I'm being truthful. Like, we have a lot to study in a short amount of time. This is something that should terrify you, and I think that functions as a gauging point for me. Like, no matter how much I've been studying before, it's like an internal reassurance or an internal indicator to my brain that this thing is important and we need to see it through. And I feel like that's what those moments of drama are for. So for all my friends who know how I am before an exam, please don't diminish. That's the other thing too. When people don't know you to be something, it's kind of hard for them to wrap their minds around it. Because my friends know, like, I will be dramatic, and then when I tell them my grade, I guess it doesn't add up, but don't underestimate or undermine my testimony, guys. This was real. And some are laughing now and not going to take me seriously. But yeah, take it seriously, guys, because this was a real thing. The feelings that I started to have, the thoughts that I started to have, it was unparalleled to any other exam experience that I had before. My last exam, I remember in school before finishing my second year, I remember I was in a friend's apartment. Friend was like, we're going to get round to card, and I was like, bro, it's a card, bro. It's been it's been a year. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, I'm that person who just wants all of us to bear in mind that some of these things we've lost touch with. Like, I am the friend that needs to be dramatic to bring reality to the forefront of our brains. That these are cold cases in our brains, man. So anyway, this wasn't that though. It was anxiety. It was worry about the future and the uncertainty and the weight and the magnitude of the exam, and the fact that I just felt like, oh my gosh, the thoughts were crazy. This is one of the thoughts I had. I should have failed the first exam. I had that thought. I should have failed CBSE so that I would have more time to be familiar with the material, passed on the second attempt, then I would probably feel more confident about taking step one. That's a major thought I had. And I was like, what if my grade was an accident? Like, what if this was just me getting like, but that's the thing about anxiety, and feelings. Your feelings always don't indicate the truth, because I remember, but this isn't something I was able to recall at the time because I was just consumed by my thoughts. I remember when my dad picked me up after I did that exam, and I just dropped back the chair. Like, I just reclined the chair in the car, and my dad was like, how was the exam? And I was like, that was crazy, it was rough. And then someone had passed the same morning. Like, it was just such an day. But I remember thinking to myself, you see, girl, if you pass this exam, God is pushing you through, and like, you've done the work, and when you do your part, God does the rest. And I was like, if I pass this exam, I feel like I have what it takes, like, on my end, to do in collaboration with God. So guys, when I saw it, I said, oh. And I was even shocked because it was just a lot going on at the time when I saw my grade. So I was shocked because of expectations that I had based on what I heard before. And yeah, so now here I am preparing for step one, and I'm like, maybe I passed that exam on accident. Like, maybe CBSE is going to be way easier than STEP. Mind you, someone who took both exams, the same guy that I was freaking out to, I'll get to that story in a bit. He was like, bro, if you passed CBSE, guys, let me tell you how ridiculous anxiety can be sometimes. The exam that I took and passed first, right? It is basically a measuring tool to see how prepared you are to take step one. So the fact that I passed, they even told me, like, if you do step one in 2 weeks, you have a 90 whatever percent chance of passing step one. And still, in my mind wanted to go with the point blah 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 percent chance that I could fail. And guys, the thoughts got worse. Started to freak out about it. And one thing about me, you can tell when I'm very busy upstairs in my mind when less comes through my mouth. Sometimes I'm able to handle both, but when it becomes overwhelming, I get very quiet. It becomes silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. The volume goes down. I was like, okay, I should have failed CBSE. Like, I'm freaking out now. I should have failed this exam. So I text my friend and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to fail. Step, like, what if I'm not ready? Do you think 2 weeks is, I think this was probably 2 weeks before I started freaking out, actually, because I remember asking, do you think I'm going to be ready to take this exam in a month or 2 weeks or something like that? And my friend was like, yo, you're ready to take this exam next 2 days. And shout out to for literally hyping me up all throughout that crazy period of anxiety. I realized that he was like, okay, maybe these are normal jitters at first, but I remember there was a night so I think I stopped studying maybe 10:30 each night, and I would wind down and try to sleep, but I was up until 1. This particular, I was like, guys, I'm fighting tears now, I actually think I'm going to fail. Remember that anxiety takes cues not only from the current situation, but like other things that are going on in your life. So I was drawing like a parallel with my academic life and something else, and he was like, bro, these are two different things. Like, don't feel this way, and even how you feel about that other situation, that's not true. Like, we've talked about this. That's not like, no. And he really had to talk me through it, and he wanted to call me, and I was like, I don't want to cry, oh mom. And then, guys, the week of the exam comes now, and so I'm freaking out, right? Before the week of the exam, but the week of the exam now, this is when my thoughts got guided. So you should have failed CBSE. You should have failed CBSE. Like, I'm reading stuff. I'm going through UWorld. It's like I'm finished with so many systems on UWorld. UWorld is like a question bank, and it's divided into it's like subdivided by different things. It's divided one way by subjects. So I finished a lot of the subjects, and it was just cardiology left, and like maybe infectious diseases and something else. And I remember my brain was just like, you've done all the questions on glomerular diseases. Your glomerulus is like a unit. It's a part of the nephron unit of your kidney that helps to filter your blood. So my brain was like, you see, all the glomerulopathy in UWorld, and no, you don't even remember what good pastor syndrome is. You don't remember what Alport is. You don't remember your nephrotic from your nephritic disease. I said, I'm sorry, why would you say this now? Like, when I had CBSE, because I had actually finished a lot of some of these like subjects in the question banks, like since term 5. It was months after my brain started. Oh my gosh, guys. You don't know all the arteries. You don't know what vein comes from. You don't know this artery. You don't know this nerve. It started getting the best of me until I had to start. When I start day sleeping, I've given up, because I've made it a point. If I'm not on a serious vacation, I'm not day sleeping. I started day sleeping because these things, they weren't lies, but they were fitted in the absolute wrong context. Like, you don't know what guys, T4, C1, C4, C5, what dermatome, what, hello? My brain started, man. But what started to get me now, I think this was maybe by the Wednesday of the week before I did my exam on the Friday. You're not really good with hematology, like my brain, this is my brain now. You're not that good with hematology. Like, you don't remember what hairy cell leukemia looks on histology. You don't remember what this looks like on histology. What if they give a lot of histology and you don't remember hematology? What is factor 5 laden disease? What is protein C? What is the function of protein C and S? What is the function of factors 5 and 8? What if you have antithrombin 3 disease? Like, my brain started, and I was just like, like, get me out of here. So I started sleeping a lot. And then, guys, this is the one that did it for me. By the Wednesday, I think the heme thoughts started early in the morning. I took a nap and I woke up, guys, and I woke up to higher degrees of worse thoughts. Worst thoughts, guys. I started seeing FAIL. Like, because I had already seen people pass the exam, I knew what the sheet looked like with a pass. Hold on, guys. It was match week as well. So I saw this particular student, she matched into residency, all glory to God, but she failed step one her first time. So, guys, I knew what one of those reports looked like when you failed. They show you where you were, they show you where the minimum for passing is, and the FAIL is up the top, right underneath step one, your name, blah blah blah. Guys, when your brain must be photographic, it's not photographic. My brain took a snapshot of that thing that I saw on Instagram and it decoded it and it placed my name there, and I could not stop seeing that thing underneath my name, FAIL. I said, gosh, what is this? What is this? Like, what is this? FAIL, FAIL. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. FAIL. It kept coming, it kept coming, it kept coming. It got to the point that because there's a 2-week period between when I took the exam and when I saw my grade. And I remember just after I prayed before checking my grade, I was like, I'm trusting that I passed, like that God did his big one, but I would not be shocked. Deep, very deep down, I had seen fail in my mind so many times, fail, that it would not surprise me to see it actually on the computer screen because I'd seen it in my mind. I got so emotional when I saw that I passed because it was just such a like crashing, stark reminder of how feelings, anxiety, thoughts, they don't portray reality. Like sometimes it just takes a friend, and shout out to them again. And it's not that all my other friends weren't good, they just really didn't know because I didn't say to the extent that this was bothering me. But sometimes you just need the right information to take you down back to earth. And the truth is, as I've said before, we allow God to be as big in our lives as we want him to be. That same week before my grades came out, I think, yeah, or no, the week before I did my exam, it was Youth Sabbath. A young lady came to church and she was sharing some stuff about battling thoughts, and I was like, oh my gosh, girl, same. And it's like the Holy Spirit was like, tell her what you've been reading. And I shared with her Psalm 55:22, Isaiah 26 verse 3. Like Isaiah 26 verse 3 was something I had to keep. You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. And I've started memorizing texts in the NLT because that's my main Bible now. And I had to tell myself, even when I was sleeping, like, even though the thoughts were so bad, I tried. Like, guys, I really tried. Psalm 55 verse 2, cast your cares. That's one version of 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Casting all your anxieties on him. Like, I had to, because if it was up to me, I'm the type of person, guys, if I could stay where I was and hide under the sheets and not show up for the exam, I probably would have. Like, it was so bad. I was just anxious. Like, I was overbearingly anxious. I barely spoke. I remember there were days my mom would come home and she would, oh my, bless her, she would really want to talk, and I'd be like, I just don't have it. Like, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to smile about. Child, I remember going on a walk the Wednesday before my exam, and I was listening to some Jamaican gospel, some African gospel, and I got my mind in the right place, and I was like, girl, we're gonna take on the exam, we're going to do this exam. But then these things, man, the thoughts. I was out of it by mid-Thursday. I couldn't study, like, and it was a part of it is burnout. I was burnt out, burnt out. And this is our introduction into our anxiety and fears series, guys. If you have had moments of anxiety and you're not usually an anxious person, like I am not an anxious person, like, I am dramatic, as I've stated before, and I get concerned about things, but I think it's usually so that I can put things in their rightful places. Like, I don't believe in undermining things. And that sounds very paradoxical and strange to some of my friends now, because they will tell you I'm not someone who shows my emotions either. But in situations like this, it's like, okay, guys, let's freak out a bit. This is a hard exam. Let's be dramatic and then let's get the job done. So, if you have dealt with anxiety, I want you to know that you're not alone. It happens. Like, the fear of the unknown happens, and the reason I really classify this as anxiety is because of the persistent thoughts. Like, it felt like my mind was just unprotected is crazy. Unprotected from these assaults of ideas that really were so contrary to what reality had to say. Like, they had little truths in there, like that little. Oh my gosh, one thing about me, I like to rate my thoughts. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've really done all the glomerular diseases since term 5. That's a good point. Say more. And my mind says something else negative, and I'm like, but that's true. Say more. Not healthy. So yeah, don't feel ashamed. Tomorrow I'm going to make the distinction. Like, I'm going to get medical about some terms, because what I just explained was a time period of ebbs and flows. Some people have diagnoses like general anxiety disorder, and we're going to get into more of those. But I just want to use today as just an anecdote that these things happen. They happen, and they're just things that we have to navigate in life. And remember that for each woe in our life, there is something in the word of God. Like, Isaiah 26 verse 3 was like the pearls that I clutched around my neck. I was like, oh, keep my mind in perfect peace. Please keep my mind in perfect peace. And I was like, God, even if, I remember saying this, I was like, God, even if these thoughts don't stop, please ensure that my brain fires and wires March 21st. And guys, I did say I passed. Praise be to God, my brain fired and wired that day. Like, I took, if you know, that exam is like a 9 to 5. It's 7 hours or 8 hours, 7 to 8 hour exam, and you get an hour break. I only took 10 minutes, but that's me habitually. I don't like to take breaks when I'm doing an exam. I get very hyper focused and I just go. I think it's adrenaline, and then I crash out after. Period. We thank God. You know, it reminds me of when David said, Psalm 34 verse 4, when David says, I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Like, I don't think I was delivered from my ultimate fear of failing, but I wasn't delivered from the thought. With David, he didn't say that he was circumstantially delivered, like the circumstances didn't change much, but he got better perspective to deal with his fears. And that's what I want us to talk about for the remaining days that we do our anxiety for anxiety and fears series. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember, as always, about first things first, and of course, my song recommendation is Psalm 34. Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, Psalm 34. See you guys tomorrow. Ciao.